Today we are turning sweet potatoes into dessert. As if these are not already the most delicious food on their own, you can actually take your sweet potato to the next level with ingredients that you already have in your kitchen to make some incredible desserts. I'm gonna show you how to make 3 of them today. If you are new here, hey, my name is Healthy Emmy. I'm a nutritionist, a weight loss specialist, the creator of the Slim on Starch program, and a sweet potato enthusiast. Before we get started with today's recipes, you want to make sure that you are cooking your sweet potato because we don't want to dive into these recipes with raw sweet potato. You can either bake them, and this is how you would do so. You can either poke holes or cut off the ends. If you cut off the ends, they're going to be more gooey. If you poke holes, they're going to be a little bit more dry. So I would recommend cutting off the ends as opposed to poking holes. You're going to put them in the oven at about 400 degrees for an hour, and then they'll be cooked through. You also can steam them in the Instant Pot. For me personally, in this recipe, I steamed them in the Instant Pot for about 10 minutes whole. And then when you go to use the sweet potato, you're going to want to remove the skin. For this first recipe, we are going to take our sweet potato and add it to a mug, making sure to remove the skin. You're only going to need about 1/4 of a cup of a sweet potato, so take your baked or steamed or boiled sweet potato, remove the skin, take 1/4 of a cup, and add it to a mug. After mashing it up, you are going to add a tablespoon of cocoa powder, a tablespoon of any nut butter. I personally had cashew, so I used that, but you could use peanut butter, you could use sun butter, you could use almond butter. I used cashew butter. 2 tablespoons of non-dairy milk. I personally was using almond milk. 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. 2 tablespoons of oat flour. I personally purchased oat flour at the store, but if you don't have any, you can just take oats and grind them up until you have about 2 tablespoons of oat flour. If you use oat flour itself that you bought from the store, it's gonna be a nicer consistency, whereas if you grind up the oats yourself, it's gonna be a little bit more grainy, so do keep that in mind. And if you don't have oat flour, you can just use regular flour, but using the oat flour makes it gluten-free. Then we're going to add a tablespoon of maple syrup, and if desired, you can add a little bit of vanilla extract here, but it's not required. Now we're gonna mash it all together, mix it all together, it'll start to smell delicious, and then microwave it for 2 to 3 minutes. And what do you get? You get chocolate cake. Let it cool down a little bit so that you don't burn yourself eating it, but you could add a little bit of dairy-free yogurt on top, or you could add some nut butter, or you could add a little bit of nice cream, banana nice cream. You can really add any toppings that you desire, or you could add what the next recipe is going to be. But this is the equivalent to brownies or a chocolate cake that you would get at a birthday party. It is delicious. And there's so many nutritional benefits to it as well. Of course, you get the vitamin A from the sweet potato, the beta carotene from the sweet potato, which is going to help with your eyesight, the antioxidants, the fiber. Depending on what type of non-dairy milk you're using, you can get some calcium in there, some vitamin E, maybe a little bit of extra protein. Also, if you are using oat flour, you get some beta-glucan, and beta-glucan is a particular type of fiber that has a bunch of benefits in the long term, like helping lower your cholesterol, but beta-glucan is a type of fiber that really helps with making you feel full. So after you have this chocolate cake, as opposed to the chocolate cake that you would get at the grocery store, the store-bought version, you're probably gonna feel nice and satisfied after this one, and you're not gonna have this huge spike in blood sugar. Also a benefit of using the oat flour because it has a nice hit of fiber, which is going to help blunt the insulin response of this little indulgent dessert. If you are enjoying these delicious desserts, I have to make sure that you're being responsible and you're supplementing with vitamin B12. If you do eat a plant-based diet, then it is imperative to supplement with vitamin B12. It's not going to be found in whole plant foods, so be responsible and please make sure that you are supplementing. Most of the supplements that you're going to find in the store are nasty, so I made one for you that is not nasty, and this one is clean, vegan, premium ingredients, no oils, no sugar, no gross stuff, just the good stuff, just one active ingredient, vitamin B12. You can get it linked below. The next recipe is so fun. You're not gonna believe what we're gonna come up with here. And I like not telling you what it is and just kind of having you watch the journey, because that's how I make these recipes. I watch the journey go along and I go, whoa, look what we end up with. So first we're gonna start with a half of an avocado. Avocado is a great thing to use if you are making something more indulgent or some desserts, because it gives you that nice creamy texture that you would usually get from something like a butter or you would get from an oil. It provides the fats that are necessary for the chemical side of the dessert and the baking, whatever it is, but these are healthy fats, and you're going to get a plethora of other added benefits with the whole avocado, as opposed to if you strip it and you just use the oil, then you don't get all the vitamins, the minerals, the nutrients, the fiber. So we're gonna use a half of an avocado here. And then we're gonna take a medium-sized sweet potato. Don't worry about it being an exact measurement, because this recipe is forgiving, as you'll see with what we come up with in the end. But I'm actually using the Hawaiian sweet potato. You can use any type of sweet potato that you'd like for any of these recipes, to be honest. But I wanted to use the purple sweet potato because I had sort of a vision for what this was going to turn into, and I wanted the color to look nice. And I think the color would look nice no matter what, but the really rich, deep purple would add a really pretty color here. So I boiled this one, I steamed it in the Instant Pot and then removed the skin. And you can eat the skin just in this recipe, it's kind of funny. Then we are going to add 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, along with 2 tablespoons of nut butter. Again, any nut butter of your choice. It could even be sun butter if you have a nut allergy, but this is gonna give a nice, rich, deep, creamy texture and taste to what we're making. Then we're going to add 1/4 cup of ground up oats. So this is a little bit different from the actual oat flour. And the reason for this is because oat flour is usually made from the groats before the oats have been flattened and steamed from the rolled oats that we see. So when you buy rolled oats at the store, those have actually been a little bit processed. They've been flattened, they've been steamed, they've been cooked a little bit so that you could eat them quote unquote raw. So for this recipe, I would encourage you to grind up the oats into a flour and not using just the straight up oat flour, because we're not gonna end up cooking this or baking it. Then we are going to add 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. If you wanna have more or less sweetness, you can adjust this based on what your preference is. Now let's mix it all together. And what you are going to find you end up with is a delicious whipped chocolate frosting. You can use this chocolate frosting on top of a rice cake. You can put it on a toasted piece of Ezekiel bread or a healthy whole grain or a homemade bread. If you have any healthy baked goods, you could add this on top. Or if you want to have a little sweet potato dessert, you can bake up a sweet potato, open it up, and then put this on top. Delicioso. You will not believe the consistency of this. It looks like a whipped frosting that you would buy from the grocery store that's filled with trans fats and sugar and milk fat and all that crazy stuff. But no, these are healthy, whole, real ingredients that you got from your kitchen. So how lucky are you? Because this is made with sweet potato and avocado, I wouldn't keep this too long in the fridge, but you can put it in a container and keep it for a few days in the fridge. But after that, just as any sweet potatoes or avocado, that's when it's gonna start to go bad after a few days. But trust me, it's not even gonna last that long because it's so delicious. So consume at your own risk, because this stuff is good and this is a great thing for kids too. But please do make sure that you're not using straight up oat flour or straight up flour, and that you're grinding your oats into a fine flour and then using that. This is a really fun thing for kids to make as well. It's very kid friendly and kid safe for the kids to put everything together. Of course, you want to be the one that is grinding the oats into a flour, but to make a fun brownie batter. And what a fun dessert that is a great alternative for actual brownie batter or actual brownies or ice cream. And of course, I'm not here to have the conversation about, well, you can have this every once in a while. Listen, if you're watching this video, it's because you're looking for healthy alternatives. And this is a healthy alternative that is packed full of vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and is going to have you feeling nice and satisfied and fulfilled afterward and not having a sugar crash. Before I share with you the next recipe, let me share with you an incredible post from my Slim on Starch client, Amber. First, she hit her walking goal. Second, she was able to identify what vitamins, minerals, and nutrients her body needed because of the cravings that she was experiencing. I have a module in the Slim on Starch program that talks about cravings and how cravings are a sign from your body that it needs something in particular, and how to decode cravings to figure out, oh, okay, I'm craving this food. That means that my body needs this vitamin, mineral, or nutrient, and here's all the places that I can get that. And then we also decode what emotional cravings are you experiencing. So what confidence? I love seeing Amber having this confidence and this conviction when she makes her food choices, and an understanding of her body and the signals that it's trying to send her. And she also said her third win was she's choosing life above all other things. This is why I wanted to share this win from my Slim on Starch client Amber, because by choosing the foods that are associated with vibrancy and they're alive and they're colorful and they have vitamins and minerals and nutrients, as opposed to the highly processed, low quality, low nutrient dense, nutrient dilute foods that we find at the grocery stores, that's not life. That's choosing food that kills us. That's choosing food. And I know that sounds dramatic, and I don't mean for it to sound dramatic, but those foods were not made for humans. These foods and the foods that we're eating in today's video, these foods were made for humans. They promote longevity, vibrancy, energy. They make you feel excited to get up in the morning. You feel light. So your food choices are a choice either for living or for dying. And she's choosing life day in and day out, and you watching this video are choosing life. So kudos to you. Let's eat some more sweet potato desserts. Next recipe incoming. The last recipe, my boyfriend didn't even allow me to taste test it because he ate the entire thing. He said it was so good. Okay, so we're trusting him. He's not even plant-based, he's plant-forward, but he is just a regular old guy. He's my fiance now. I still am calling him my boyfriend, but he is my fiance. Okay, so for this next recipe, we are going to take 1/4 cup of sweet potato using the same sort of maneuver, if you will, as last time, where you scoop out 1/4 cup of the sweet potato and you add it to a mug. Do you know where this is going? Then we're going to add 1½ tablespoons of nut butter. Again, any nut butter or sun butter of your choice. 2 teaspoons of maple syrup. You can add more if you like it really sweet. 2 tablespoons of any non-dairy milk. 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract. If you don't have this, don't worry about it. 3 tablespoons of oat flour. 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. And 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Just like we did with our first mug cake, we're going to throw this into the microwave for 2 to 3 minutes, depending on the power of your microwave and also the consistency of your batter. You know, based on if you baked the sweet potato or if you steamed it, please don't microwave it, then it gets super dry. It's not gonna work well. You are going to have a different consistency and a different cooking time. And then what you end up with is this spongy, cinnamony, it's like a cinnamon toffee sticky bread pudding. My boyfriend said it reminded him of a bread pudding, of a sticky toffee bread pudding. Now you can top it with a little bit of nut butter, a drizzle of maple syrup, a little bit of cinnamon, and you're gonna be in heaven. You can have it directly from the mug, or you can take it out of the mug and put it onto a nice little plate and make it look pretty. I added a couple of blueberries on top just to make it look pretty, which didn't get eaten, but never mind that now. If you made it to this point in the video, I'm gonna have you comment something. I want you to comment, "It's a sweet life," because how lucky are you to have the resources, the knowledge, and the ability to take all this information from this video and go live your best life. You did that for yourself, so it's a sweet life that you're living. If you enjoyed this video, you are going to love the next video that pops up on the screen. It's another super easy dessert recipe that mimics Girl Scout cookies, okay? I love you, honeys, and I'll see you in my next video.